Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Just got back from a recent trip down linear fisheries, Simo social number 3. Really productive session, slow start but ended up with a few fish. A couple of weeks ago I'd been to Firsbury again, another really successful session down at Firsbury. Yeah, something a little bit different today. I'm back down my local park lake, just trying to catch a few fish over a short session. Something I'm looking at doing between now and the rest of the winter. Just some short sessions down my local park lake, seeing if I can nick a few fish. I haven't been here for a good while, to be honest. This is the first session I've done on here in a year. A lot weedier than it was before. Managed to find myself a little bit of a spot though. Still quite a few fish in here, quite a few nice fish in here for me to target. Fortunately, it's lost a lot of its original fish, but a lot of the stock is now piling on the pounds and real target fish to hit. There's one fish in here in particular that's upwards of 30 pounds. It's done 40 pounds a few times as well. I caught it at 23 pounds many years ago, but I'd like to catch that one again now that it's a good size. Yeah, that's the aim over the next few months, up to December time. Maybe the odd night, real short sessions, max 24 hours at a time, sometimes only 12-hour sessions. Seeing if I can nick one or two bites. I need to get my head around the lake again. Like I say, it's been that long since I've been. It's a lot weedier than before, so the spots that I've fished before and the pegs that I quite like to fish on, they're no longer there. It's about finding new spots, getting in touch with some of the local anglers again, seeing what's happening, what the fish are being caught on, where they're being caught. I can't see that the habits of the fish have changed much there. They move around a lot. They do follow the wind a lot as well. Yeah, I can't see the habits have changed, but maybe the feeding habits may have changed a little bit. This is an example that they normally show themselves a lot first thing in the morning at first light in one particular area of the lake. I could guarantee previous sessions I'll be able to see them doing that. But when I got here at first light this morning, they weren't there. In fact, there's been hardly any show. Yeah, got to try and get my head around the lake again over the coming weeks. Confident tactics though, tactics that I know work. Wafters, chod rigs, over small beds of bait, not massive beds of bait, just small beds of bait, sometimes just a sprinkle in the boilies as well. I've got 2 on a spot and one just off an island just to the right of me. As with a lot of park lakes, of course, a lot of bird life. Been hounded by coots over on my spot already. I managed to deal with that, I'm sure. Give them a bit of time, and when they disappear, I'll drop a little bit more bait in just to top it up. Well, the spot's lovely and clear. The ducks don't seem to be, the coots, swans, they don't seem to be going anywhere near the spot. So fingers crossed that one will stay clear for the rest of the day and the night. I'll keep you updated. Go. First fish of the session. It's that baited spot I talked about earlier. I've been hounded by coots, so I wasn't sure whether I'd actually pick up a fish or not. There's a few coots diving on my bait just as well, but then all of a sudden it ripped off. The lovely 17.10 linear. Standard kind of fish from this park lake, to be quite honest. 17.10. quickly get some photos and then I'll get the rod back out. Wondered how long it'd be before I had one of these. Fish number 2, £22.8. Exactly the same rod, same bait. 2 pieces of pop-up sweet corn, but a food-based one, not a fake one. The other rod hasn't budged, so I might swap that one over to this one, to that same bait as well. Lovely looking fish. £22.8. Lovely fish. Quickly take some photos and then slip her back and get the rod back on the spot. Possibly change the other one over to the same bait too. Number 3, another absolute stunner at £21.4. Again, another one that looks a little bit down in weight, but this one's in absolutely pristine condition. This one is. Yep, £21.4. Same rod, same tactic over the bait, the double corn. Let's take some photos and get this one back and hope for another one. So, just at my 4th carp of the day. As I just landed that one, my other rod screamed off. Unfortunately, that one was only a tench. Yeah, got my first common in the net. Just gonna get the sling ready, give it away, get a video done, then quickly get the rods back out. There's definitely a few fish out there. I'll be very surprised if I don't have any more by the morning. 4th fish of the session. Little common of just over 13, well, nearly £14, £13.12. This one, same spot, but this time I'd moved the rod from the island onto the spot and it went within 10 minutes. Looks like one of the fish that I mentioned earlier on in the video that has been stocked into here. Doesn't quite fit the style of the rest of the fish. Not long after my last update, I had my 4th. That strange little common of just over £13. nearly 14 pounds, wasn't it? Sorry. Yeah, strange looking fish. Looks to me like one of the stockies that they put in the weird stockies that doesn't really belong in here. But it's a fish. I've only just managed to get all my rods back out. I had a tench at the same time as that one. So yeah, I decided to do all 3 rods again and then put a fresh bed of bait out ready for night time. Sun's right the way down there, last bit of light we're on, which is why I'm in my bivvy doing this final update. The last few fish I've had have taken me straight into the weeds, so I've got to be really careful if I have one in the night. I've got to make sure I keep my rod up, keep the pressure on the fish. They do pull out of the weed. Well, landed the last 2. So yeah, they do come out of the weed fairly easily, but it'll be a little bit trickier in the night, especially now that I've got all 3 rods on the same spot. So yeah, fingers crossed for a few more in the night. 3 in the morning. It's a very eventful night last night. Struggling to sleep struggling to get to sleep at about 11 o'clock. Hay fever started playing up, really struggling to breathe, tight chested, stuffy nose. Finally managed to nod off not long before midnight, and then not long after midnight started getting these strange bleeps on all 3 of my rods. Jumped out the bivvy to see what was going on, wondered whether it was a swan or something. Nope, no swans, no birds around, but all 3 of my bobbins dropping down, slowly dropping down, coming back up. Could only mean one thing, it was a trailing line, I suspect. So I had to bring all my rods in and redo them midnight, just after midnight, pitch black, couldn't really see where I was going. Used specific markers in the back of the tree line where I was casting in the daytime, in the hope that I was on the spot. Never really been one for accurate casting in the night, to be fair. But absolutely it paid off. Not that long ago, you can see the sling in the background, not that long ago, just before the sun started coming up, one absolutely tore off. Got it in, lovely mirror, a few little scales scattered around, 24-pound 8, popped it back in the sling, ready to take some photos, and as I did, the other rod rolled off. Didn't weigh that one, but it's a lovely lovely linear, which I'm yet to weigh. So here's the first one from that double take this morning. Beautiful fish, 24-pound 8, biggest one of the session. I think the linear they've got in the net that I haven't managed to weigh yet, it's a little bit smaller than this. 24-pound 8, stunning fish this one. £24.8, lovely mirror. Get some photos of this one, get it back, and then take a look at the other one. Here's the second one of the 2, the brace this morning. A little bit bigger than I thought actually, £24.2. Doesn't look anywhere near as big as the other one. Must be a bit more filled out. But yeah, this one tore off as I was popping the other one into the sling, into the water. All the fish have fell, the same tactics on that spot, that baited spot, with pop-up corn poppers. So food-based little pieces of corn. Cracking little tactic, paying off. Absolutely beautiful. rods out while I packed all my other bits and pieces away. So this noise, so my rod was going round, pulling a bit of line, took me straight in the weed. Kept the pressure on, as you saw, moved slightly different angle, whilst keeping the pressure on. Yeah, it's just come off, but pulled, gutted, still can't complain. Seven bites from carp, landing 6, landing 2 tension as well. Hopefully the next session is just as productive. Well then, I think it's time to call it quits. Really productive session. 6 carp up to 24 pound, a couple of tench in 24 hours. Really good. Really good session, really pleased with it. So I was going to go through the bait that I was using. I started off with chod rigs. I was struggling to find a proper clear spot. I found a really light bit of weed. I thought I'd be able to fish over just to start off with. Didn't put any bait out, just popped some bright hook baits over the top using chod rigs. But then whilst I had those rods out, I managed to find myself with a marker rod a nice clear spot at 16.5 wraps. Easily you get 3 rods on there. I only put 2 on to begin with. The 2 that I put on, one of them I had a tiger nut wafter on an IQD rig tipped with corn, and the other one was one of those corn poppers, the pop-up corn, food bait ones, not plastic, it's actual food based ones. Both of those on the spot, and the third rod I put on a match the hatch wafter tipped with corn towards a clear spot on an island, and just baited that up with some freebies, 15mm boilies, match the hatch boilies. Nothing happened on that island rod, and I had my first take on the corn, so I then moved both rods on the spot onto corn. Once I had a couple more bites off that spot, I then moved the third rod away from the island because I hadn't had anything with that. So yeah, all of them, apart from actually two, I kept one rod on the match the hatch bottom bait wafter on the spot, and I had one on that. That was that little common in the video. That one fell to the wafter bottom bait. Same setup on an IQD rig, just trim the boilie down, trim the wafter down, tipped with a little bit of corn. Yeah, and that's what that little common fell to. All of the other ones fell to the double pop-up corn poppers, and the tench took the corn poppers. It's always the trouble going for smaller baits like that on a venue like this that's packed with tench, that you might pick up a couple of tench. But yeah, you can wade your way through the tench and you can normally pick yourself up 1 or 2 carp. Really happy with that. So yeah, looking forward to the next time I come down. Next time may only be a short overnight session, Friday night to Saturday morning. The idea was that I'd do a few sessions and put them all together in one video, but because of how many fish I've had this time, I'm going to keep this as a separate video, but the next ones are more likely going to be a couple of sessions put together into one video. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.